Hello everyone, welcome to the English 3 practice written test. Your regular lecturer could not be here today, so I will go over the test with you. The practice test has the same type of questions that you will find on the regular written test, which you will do next week. The written test has 35 questions. You will have 30 part 1 questions, and you will have 5 part 2 questions. In today's practice written test, you will have 12 part 1 questions and 5 part 2 questions. The part 1 questions are worth 1 point, and the part 2 questions are worth 2 points. So on your written test next week, you will have 30 points, 30 questions for 30 points, and 5 questions for 10 points, for a total of 40 points. The written test is out of 20%. All right. But today, we have 1 point for part 1 and 2 points for part 2. But we have no points. Okay, it's just a practice test. I want you to do your best, and I want you to make mistakes. If you make mistakes, it's better to make them on the practice test now than on the written test next week. Okay, so today the practice test has 17 questions. Before we go over the written test, maybe you should do the test. Okay, so print off homework number 1, which will be page 1 of the test, and maybe print off homework number 2. Okay, and you can do the questions for part 1 and part 2, and then we can look over your answers. Okay, now for part 1, for the part 1 questions, as it says, read the questions carefully and circle the best answer. Okay, so you're given a question or maybe a sentence, and you're given 4 choices. Okay, 4 possible answers. Okay, so read the opening question or sentence, and then you can add, in the case of number 1, you can add the missing word from 4 choices. Okay, in the case of number 5, you can read the question and then respond with the best answer. Okay, that's part 1. For part 2, you're going to write an appropriate answer for each question by using a full and complete sentence. Okay, single word answers will be marked wrong. Okay, all right. So you're given a question. Okay, you will write your own answer. It'll be a complete answer, complete sentence. Okay. All right, so maybe pause the video lecture and do the written test, and when we are finished, we will review the answers. Okay, so pause the track and come back in when you're finished the test. All right, we're going to look at the answers here. So again, for each of these, you're given a question and 4 possible answers. You will choose the best possible answer. We're going to start off with the first 4, crammed at the top of the page. Maybe cramming like you're cramming for your test. Number 1, we have a sentence. She was born blank 1997. Okay, so born. Okay, so she started life. Now we're looking for a preposition, obviously. Okay, and this is something that we studied in Unit 1, use of prepositions for various times. Okay, okay, let's get the answers. On, she was born on 1997. That would be incorrect. Now, if she had said, or written, she was born on July 1st, 1997, that would be fine. We use on usually for a day of the week. We also use it for dates, okay? So you might know that from studying Unit 1, okay? If you check your textbook, you might also see that we use it for other specific times, like on my birthday or something. Okay? B, she was born at 1997. No, you could say she was born at 1900 hours. Okay, so often we use at for events or a time. Okay, so that's probably the most common of the answers for time, for using at. Okay. Good. And also at times of the day. She was born at night, but we'd probably use for other types of day in the evening. Okay. The answer is D. Okay, so we use in. Born in year. Okay. So she was born in 1997. She was born in July 1997. Okay. So in is used for many different periods of time. We use it for seasons, future times. Okay, so in a few minutes. She was born in 10 minutes flat. Okay, so there's many different periods for in, but again, for a year, in. Number 1, the answer is D. Let's look at number 2. Okay, so obviously we're looking at some infinitives here. Okay, we hope blank you again. Okay, now the answer is certainly not C. We hope to arrive you. So arrive doesn't. We hope you arrive soon. Arrive again? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, but obviously arrive. Dochakada. It's something that happens when somebody comes to a specific place at a time. Now, we hope for B and C, these are also incorrect. You could use it with the word with. We hope to stay with you again. We hope to be with you again. So again, if you had the preposition with at this point, that would be fine. The answer is A. Okay. We hope to see you again. This is a fairly common idiomatic phrase, or maybe a lexical phrase. Okay. We hope to see you again soon. Okay. So a lot of native speakers would quickly get that correct because we're used to that entire phrase. Okay. You might hear it on an airline or some form of business. We hope to see you again. We hope you fly again with us. Okay. So and also note that most often a very strong collocation with hope and to. So that's obvious. We have that in all the answers here. So you don't even need to know that, but that's a very common structure. So we hope to see you again. We hope to, and more than just see, we hope that you arrive again. Okay, so again, the word, this would be incorrect, but the meaning is much the same. We hope you, hope to meet you again, hope to be in the same area. Often used with customers, but meaning hope to that you visit us again. Answer for 2, A. 3. Okay, so in 3, it rained yesterday. Okay, so the sentence is correct as it is. Okay, there's let's talk about the weather. And we give the word rained. Okay, so we're looking at the verb, and it tells us when. So with this verb, we're going to describe that verb. And right here, you have a collection of adjectives. Okay, sorry, adverbs, and you can tell they're adverbs by the ly ending. And of course, very is often used for describing adjectives. Okay, so D would be incorrect because even though it's an adverb, we usually use it to describe we don't use it to describe verbs. We use them to describe other adjectives. Okay, so you could say it rained very hard. So hard would describe not the verb, but would describe the rain itself. Okay, the downpour, the rainfall. Okay. In this case, it rained heavily, quickly, really. Okay. So again, with really, you could include this word. It would have to go here. Okay. So really often precedes precedes the verb or the adjective that it's describing. Okay. Again, you could say it rained very hard. It rained really hard. Okay. And those are words you could use for that. That brings us down to A and B. Okay, so the answer is A. Okay, if you studied in Unit 2, I think it's on the starter activity. The sentence might seem very familiar. Maybe it sounds like something you studied in week 2 in your other online lecture. Okay, it rained heavily. Okay. So that might seem like quickly might sound like a better word, because when it rains heavily, the rain falls very fast. Okay, there's a lot of it. It's not maybe it seems like it's raining faster, but in fact each drop is heavier. Right, so the amount of sound you hear comes very quickly. It sounds like it's almost moving quickly. It's probably moving at the same speed, but again, the drops, each water drop is heavier, it's larger, okay? And that's why when it rains heavily, it's quite loud, okay? So you're hearing more sound, okay? Answer for number 3 is A, okay? It rained heavily yesterday. According to number 4, we're not given very much information in the question. What happened? So obviously something happened. The subject is the same for each question, and it looks like the object is the same too. Okay, so we're looking for action transfer here. Okay. Okay, so you can see that we have the bird. We have a cat. Most of the answers have the word by, except I guess this one. And then we have the be verb and the word, or form of the word, kill. Okay, or in this case, killed. If I had to guess, probably killing and probably the answer is A or B. Okay. We could use the be verb for this passive action, but it would have to be for the continuous passive form of the continuous present tense. The bird is being killed by a cat. So that means it's happening now. Or in other words, the cat is killing the bird. That would be the active form. Okay, so it's something that's happening now, but we know from the question it's not happening now. What's happening? What's going on? It's not happening now. It happened. It's in the past. Okay, so we know A is wrong. The bird was killing a cat. The bird was getting killed by a cat. So if you were going to use the past continuous in the passive form, you still need some more words for this one. Okay. So the structure, the answer, B. The bird was killed by a cat. Okay. Now again, we could say what happened? A cat killed the bird. Okay. But often in English and other languages, we want to focus first on the person or on the thing that receives the action. Okay. So that seems to be the important thing here. What happened? The bird. Well, what about the bird? Well, the bird was killed. How? The bird was killed by a cat. Okay, so we see in this passive form, we have the be verb in the past tense, we have the past form of the verb, and then we have the word by. Okay, so again, the action is transferring from the cat to the bird. Okay, the cat kills the bird. Okay, but in this form, the bird was killed by a cat. Okay, the bird received the killing action. Okay. All right. So the answer, D, A, and B for the first four questions here. Move on to the next few questions. Take a look at these three right here and see how we do. Okay, so number 5, how can you save on attractions? Okay, it's a question you may have encountered in Unit 9. Okay, so when you studied Unit 9 this semester, somebody may have asked a question. How can you do these things? How can you save on attractions? So attractions, you're looking at something like a place that would attract a tourist, a place that would be a place to go and spend some time. Okay? Sometimes you might go to a theme park or an amusement park. Okay? Other times you might go to a movie theater. Okay? Or maybe a concert. Many different types of attractions. Okay? Many of those attractions cost money. Okay? So a movie or a concert, they would cost money. So how can you save on? How can you save money? Okay, how can you save money on attractions? Okay, so I don't want to spend a lot of money on attractions. A, it's very attractive. Okay, okay, so we're not using the adjective form, we're using the noun form. We're talking about attractions. Yes, movies and concerts are very attractive. They attract me to them because they are very interesting, to say the least. Okay, but we're not talking about something that is attractive. Okay, we know it's attractive; it's an attraction. But I'm talking about saving money. Okay, so B, I deposit them in a bank. Okay, good. So he's talking about saving money, but we're not talking about not spending money. Obviously, with an attraction, we're going to spend money. Okay, and depositing in the bank means not spending. Okay, this person is trying to find out how can I spend less money. B does not talk about spending at all. You deposit, so you put the money in a bank to save. It's a different kind of save. It's like a saving for a long time. Number 5, you can visit museums that are free, okay? Or you can visit free museums. Okay. All right. So this person wants to spend money on attractions. He wants to spend less money. The answer for number 5 is C. Okay. You can visit. So how can I save? You can visit museums. Okay. Or you should visit museums that are free. So they're interesting, they give you information, they don't cost you money. Okay, that's a way to save money. Okay? Or maybe a museum has a low price. Okay? D is also wrong. Sometimes you hear the phrase, how can you? How can you do that? Because I want to. Okay? Basically asking why. Why would you choose to do that? How can you? How can you save on attractions? Okay? Because I want to save on attractions. Okay? But that's not what they're asking. Okay? There's nothing wrong with saving on attractions. Okay? So D is incorrect. If you refer to Unit 9, you can see the structure. Okay? How can I save on attractions? Well, you can visit museums that are free. Okay? So in this case, the U is a general U. 5, the answer is C. Number 6, okay, common enough question, common enough problem. I hope that we can figure this out. Number 6, may I lend one of your books? May I play one of your books? May I borrow one of your books? And D, may I boil one of your books? Now, boil is to cook something in water. Often people will boil noodles, ramen, eggs. That's something you put in water to cook. Usually people don't boil books. Okay, they don't taste better that way. May I play one of your books? Not really wrong if it's an audio book. Also play with one of your books. We're going to put that as wrong. Okay, so that comes down to lend and borrow. So many students confuse these. May I lend one of your books? May I borrow one of your books? The answer is A. Okay. Incorrect. I'm getting it wrong. Answer is C. Okay. May I borrow one of your books? So asking the same question with lend would be something like, if I can freestyle here. Oh, it's right here. Could you lend ing? Okay. So you lend me. Okay, so you are going to give me your book. Okay. Borrow, may I take one of your books? Okay. So give and take are generally the same. That might be an easier way to remember it. Okay. These seem a bit more permanent. When you give someone a book, maybe they won't give it back. Lend seems to understand that the giving is for a limited time. Okay, so if I borrow something from you, I will give it back. Okay, take seems to mean I have it. I don't know what's going to happen to it, but I have it now. Okay, I've taken it. Why? I don't know. For how long? I don't know. But borrow means take something and give it back later. Okay. Lend means give something but get it back later. Okay. So again, limited time for lend and limited time for borrow. Okay. Whereas lend and give and borrow and take are much the same. Okay. So I can't lend one of your books. It's not my book. It's your book. Okay. All right. So the answer for number 6, C. Okay. May I borrow one of your books? All right. 7. What did she ask you to do? Okay. So in this one, we've got somebody. So apparently in the past, we know it's the past, she asked you to do something. So what is your response? What did she ask you to do? So probably the answer is I, me, okay. Now let's go to the letter A. You be careful with answering a question with another question. It's not wrong. It's very unusual in tests. What did she ask you to do? Did she ask you? Okay, no. She didn't ask me. She asked you. Okay, that's why I'm asking this question. Okay, so there's nothing in here about if she said, what did she ask me to do? Did she ask you? Might be okay, but nobody asked the questioner anything. B, also trying to confuse you, I asked her to do it. Okay, now this wouldn't be so bad. What did she ask you to do? No, you're wrong. I asked her to do it. Okay, so that would be an appropriate. But it, what is it? Okay, we don't know. There's no this pronoun is supposed to refer to an activity or something to be done. Since it's not mentioned, it's very confusing. It's not mentioned in the previous question. Okay? The answer for number 7 is D. Okay? What did she ask you to do? She asked me to fix. Okay, so this is the only answer that really deals with the infinitive. Okay, so again, there's an infinitive in letter B, but there's no it. There's nothing to refer back to. I don't know. She asked about me. Okay. No. So she asked to do something. So she's asking for an action. The action, fix her bicycle. The answer for 7 is D. Okay, so that completes the first lecture. Please come back for lecture number 2. We're going to finish off this practice test with these 3 questions, and then we'll go to homework number 2 and look at those answers. Okay. Thank you very much, and see you in lecture number 2.